She came to work like any other day, quiet, focused, determined to stay invisible in a place that never truly welcomed her. But before lunch, her manager turned the entire office into a stage. With one cruel laugh and a cup of soda, humiliation poured down her uniform while others watched in silence. They thought it was just a joke. They thought she had no power, no voice, no one coming for her. But minutes later, one phone call to security changed every face in that room. Who was the man they had just embarrassed? Maya Thompson had built her life around discipline. Every morning before sunrise, she took the first bus across the city, arrived early, and opened the downtown corporate office before most executives even stepped through the doors. She was the employee people depended on but rarely noticed, the one who kept schedules moving, conference rooms ready, deliveries organized, and problems solved before anyone else knew they existed. At home, life was no easier. She cared for her aging mother, paid bills down to the last dollar, and still carried herself with quiet pride. She believed hard work could open doors, even in places where some people looked through her instead of at her. So she stayed focused, ignored the whispers, and kept proving herself every day. But the office had changed when a new manager arrived. He was loud, careless, and obsessed with reminding people who held power. Some workers laughed at his comments to stay safe. Others lowered their eyes and said nothing. Maya became his favorite target not because she made mistakes, but because she never bowed to humiliation. Small insults started first. Her name said wrong on purpose, tasks dumped on her desk at the last second, jokes disguised as harmless fun. Every day he tested how much disrespect she would absorb before breaking. That morning felt different the moment she walked in. People were unusually quiet. Eyes followed her, then quickly turned away. The manager stood near the break room smiling to himself, a cold drink in his hand as if he had planned something. Maya sensed trouble, but she still straightened her uniform, picked up her clipboard, and went to work. She had no idea that within the next hour, the entire office would witness something none of them would ever forget. The morning moved with forced normalcy. Phones rang, printers hummed, keyboards clicked, but beneath the routine was something tense and watchful. Maya could feel it each time she passed a desk. Conversations stopped when she got close. Faces turned away too quickly. Whatever was coming, others already knew. She focused on her work. She organized invoices, restocked supplies, and prepared the boardroom for an afternoon meeting. She refused to give the manager what he wanted, fear. But he kept circling the floor like someone waiting for the perfect moment to perform. Near noon, he called everyone toward the open workspace under the excuse of a team announcement. Employees gathered in a loose half-circle, some confused, others strangely eager. Maya remained near the copy station, holding a stack of folders. Then he pointed at her and told her to come forward. Every step felt heavy. He began speaking about attitude, gratitude, and knowing one's place. He never used her name, but every word was aimed directly at her. Some people smirked, others stared at the floor. Maya stood still, refusing to react. Then it happened. With a grin stretched across his face, he lifted the cup in his hand and flicked it forward. Sticky soda splashed across Maya's shirt, hair, and paperwork. Ice cubes struck the floor and scattered beneath desks. For 1 second, the room went silent. Then came nervous laughter. It was the kind of laughter people use when they know something is wrong but are too weak to stand against it. A few workers gasped. One woman covered her mouth. Another quietly stepped backward as if distance could erase guilt. Maya didn't scream, she didn't cry. She looked down at the dark stains spreading across her uniform, then slowly raised her eyes to the people around her. What hurt most was not the drink, it was the humiliation, the message behind it. The belief that she could be degraded publicly and no one would stop it. The manager mistook her silence for defeat. He mocked her composure, gestured toward the mess, and told someone to bring paper towels. Then he laughed again, louder this time, as if cruelty became funnier when repeated. But something had changed. From the hallway, a security officer had seen everything. He entered the room, took one look at Maya, then one look at the manager. His expression hardened. Instead of escorting Maya away, he asked a single quiet question, her full name. The manager answered for her, still smiling, still certain he controlled the room. The guard ignored him. He stepped aside, pulled out his phone, and made a call no one expected. He spoke softly, respectfully, and with sudden urgency. The only clear words anyone heard were, "Sir, you need to know what happened to Ms. Thompson." The laughter died instantly. The manager's smile began to fade. Workers exchanged nervous glances. Why would security report to anyone important? Why did the guard stand straighter than before? Why did he look at Maya with recognition instead of pity? Then the guard ended the call, slipped the phone back into his pocket and faced the room. He's on his way. No one asked who he meant. Because somehow everyone already knew the answer would change everything. No one moved after those words. The room that had laughed only moments earlier now stood frozen in a silence so heavy it felt impossible to breathe. The manager tried to recover first. He straightened his tie, forced a smile, and began talking fast, calling it harmless fun, office culture, a misunderstanding. But even he no longer believed himself. Then the elevator doors opened. Footsteps crossed the marble floor with calm, measured certainty. Two senior executives entered first, faces tense. Behind them came an older man few employees had ever seen in person, though everyone knew his name. He was the chairman of the entire company. The room broke into panic. Some workers lowered their heads, others stepped backward trying to disappear. The manager's face drained of color as he realized the truth too late. This was not a rumor, this was not a bluff. The chairman did not look at him first. He walked directly to Maya. Sticky soda still clung to her uniform, her folders lay ruined on the floor. Without saying a word, he removed his own suit jacket and placed it over her shoulders. The gesture hit harder than any shout ever could. Respect had entered the room and it had chosen its side. Only then did he turn. His eyes moved across every employee who had watched in silence, then stopped on the manager trembling near the desk. The chairman listened as security explained what happened. He glanced at the surveillance camera in the corner. There would be no lies today. The manager tried again, stammering excuses, blaming stress, claiming everyone was joking. His voice cracked with every sentence. No one came to defend him. The chairman's expression never changed. He ordered the footage preserved. He demanded HR, legal, and the board be notified immediately. Then, in front of the same crowd where Maya had been humiliated, he stripped the manager of his badge and position on the spot. The man who loved public embarrassment now stood publicly ruined, but the chairman wasn't finished. He turned back to Maya and said the next decision would be hers. And suddenly the entire company waited for the woman they thought had no power. Maya looked around the room slowly, at the faces that laughed, at the faces that stayed silent. At the people who only understood her value once power walked through the door. She could have answered with anger. She could have asked for revenge. No one would have blamed her. Instead, she chose something stronger. She asked for accountability. She requested that every employee present be required to attend bias training, that reports of harassment be handled by an independent team, and that no worker, regardless of title, race, or income, ever be humiliated publicly again. She asked for written protections for support staff who were often ignored until they were needed. Then she asked for one final thing: respect. The chairman agreed immediately. Within weeks, the manager was formally dismissed. Internal policies were rewritten. Anonymous complaints that had been buried for years were reopened. Employees who once stayed quiet began speaking up. Some apologized to Maya privately, others never found the courage. As for Maya, she did not become famous, she did not seek headlines. She simply walked back into that building with her head higher than before. The same halls that once tried to shrink her now made room when she passed. But the stain left that day was bigger than soda on a uniform. It was the stain of believing someone is less human because of their race. The stain of laughter at cruelty. The stain of silence when speaking up costs something. That is how injustice survives, not only through the people who commit it but through the people who watch it happen. Maya's story is not rare. It happens in offices, schools, stores, streets, and systems every day. Different faces, different places, same wound. So the real question is not what that manager did. The real question is this: when humiliation happens in front of you, will you laugh, stay silent, or stand up?